Hello, everyone. About 1 minute late. Could not get my camera to turn on. John Cope was not feeling well today, but he still rallied and came in to work for a while, but just a little too much for the day for him. So you're stuck with me, but I am live from the bar area at CRT. You're looking at the back wall. I might get brave and spin that camera around here in a minute. Who all is in here? Gosh, I've been people in here for a while now. We have Justin Hill, the one-eyed cat. He says, my earlier comment disappeared. Yeah, well, when you leave it hours early, that's what happens. They go away. Unfinished Project says Dart Sport. Slow Parts LLC, free valve lash inspection with every purchase, free ignition timing restoration with every tube of lithium grease. Right on. Twisted Mopar Garage is here. Auto Salvage Outlaw says got 6 books and still knows nothing. It defies belief. Wendy English. J-Bo is here. Thanks for tuning in. The boys of NSB Custom Cars. How's it going? Dust Devil Garage. Pure Pontiac Garage. Tall Garage says, sup nerds. How's it going? Tall Garage. Boy, that's interesting with old Mr. Swinger there now, isn't it? He's a beta's beta. Heavens Mopars is here. Says, yo, homies. Mohawk 62. Leave for a few when the place gets crowded. Yeah. Well, this is Cope's Bar. It should be crowded. That would actually be a blast having all of you guys live in this bar area. That would be fun. Danny Boyd is here. Cope says, up, boys. Wish you could have made it in here this evening, but we've been having too much fun here at the shop. So one customer caller came in a test vehicle. I'm sure you'll see more about that on Cope Racing Transmissions channel soon, but interesting stuff. So you'll be seeing more about that pretty soon. But lots of cool stuff came in here today. And Colleen Tebow says, hello, everyone. Colleen, I thought about you today because a car that rolled in here today is a 72 Charger. Has a 3rd gen Hemi and a 46 RH. Reminded me you have a 71. Mexican Spec. Turbo Tom. I won a tool bag and was given a membership. Yeehaw. Cool. One-Eyed Cat says, hello, Mr. Cope. Glad you've been entertaining our boy John Wilbur the last few years. We've been having a blast. So one night we went out to Aurelio's Pizza, Real Chicago Pizza. Last night we went out to Portillo's. I had the Italian beef, green peppers. Tried their milkshake. It was great. We have a good time. And the boy that works here, Lucas, he asked me if there was time sometime today we could detail strip a Glock. He wanted to see the inner workings of the Glock. So we did that this afternoon. Fun stuff. We'll let a little bit more people get in here, and we'll talk about the One-Eyed Cat's transmission. I'll show pictures and give details of that and all kinds of good stuff. See, Travis's Mopar Garage is in here. Stephen Holtz. Tony's Hot Rod Garage. One-Eyed Cat says, surprised you do not have a blank orange paper behind you. I'm going to fix that. Hang on just a second. I'm glad you said that, One-Eyed Cat. I'm going to fix that. Hold on a minute. Unity Motorsports Garage, Andy. Andy, you'd love what rolled in here today. I need to see if I'll remedy that orange paper situation. Hey, my Aunt Nancy's here. Check that out. Good to see you. Glad you made it. I'm glad you're here. I brought your van up here. Brought your van up here. Runs beautifully. Brought a bunch of transmission parts up here in it. 6% recycled's in the house. Levi's Backyard Performance. Hello from the same state. Yeah, but completely different area of it, but yes. Levi, if you can make it here in the next 2 hours, you can come get in the live. Hoosier Garage. Yeah, I figured all the Hoosiers would be reporting tonight. Hey, my mom is here. Tall Garage says Mr. Swinger's a nut. Like I never seen it. Yeah, Mr. Swinger's a piece of work. Travis's Mopar Garage is heading to Nashville in the morning for Austin's wedding. Oh, cool, man. Dizzy Izzy is here. Thanks for joining. All right. Get a little caught up. Andrew Nelson's here, says, good evening, gang. Unfinished project says, I'm wet sanding a vintage Pyrex mixing bowl, and it's in rough shape, but I'm bringing it back. Well, cool. Danny Boyd says, countdown page on NNN site. Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. You're going to see it. Nancy says, that's a great van. Indeed it is. Bob Taylor says, howdy, John. Bob Taylor. You're not my mom and aunt's cousin, Bob Taylor, are you? You a different Bob Taylor? Where are you from? Twisted Mopar says, I don't know if anyone around me likes a Demon Carb. I don't know much about Demon Carbs, but I know one thing. The first time I picked one up, it's like a dumbbell. Those things are that heavy. I don't know what they've got to weigh 10 pounds, so they're heavy. Levi says 3-hour drive. I know, but you drive a fast car, don't you? Yeah, I see my aunt found her sister in the comments. What do you know? It's a small world. All right, Dude Mopar's here. Glad you can make it. All right, now we're caught up. John Davey. Okay, whatever that is. Wendy got to take a break. Well, cool. We're going to talk a little bit about Don's transmission. I'll remind Lucas about that paper. All right, that solves that. All right. So Lucas may stop by. 6 hours from me, right? Hoosier Garage is on one border of Indiana, on the southern border, and I am on the northwest border of Indiana. All right. Well, I've only got one light running here today. Justin Hill said, you go on a trip. Yes, indeed. I am at Cope Racing Transmissions right now. It does not look like a transmission shop, but I assure you it is. If I thought I could do it without knocking out my video feed, I would spin this. I would actually take you out there and show you the shop from the mezzanine. You know what? That's what I need to do next time. I need to do a live and set up on that mezzanine out there and have the camera down over my back down into the shop. Because out there right now, he's got of course, the Power Wagon and Haney and the Coronet. Also has a customer's 71 Challenger out there. It's getting a 46RE or 46RH. There is a customer's 72 Charger out there, third gen Hemi, 46RH. There's a lot of cool stuff. There is a Ford truck out there, a fast Ford truck. and you'll get to see more about what it's doing here pretty soon. Izzy said another fella tried to buy the Vagrant today, called it one of a kind. Well, absolutely. Tony's Hot Rod Garage says, bring yourself in as a guest on your. That's a great idea. You know what? I think I'll do that. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try to show you guys what's going on in the shop out here. Let's see if I could. I think that's a whole lot safer than trying to move it. Tony, that's a wonderful idea. I'm going to try to do that. You guys are going to want to see that. And a little bit later in the live, we'll get into Dawn's transmission. Let's see if I can do this without. This is like a high-level thing for me. Place your bets in the chat. What are the odds I'm going to be able to do this without a disaster? Because you know I'm not the techiest guy in the world. All right. Copying down the address. And we're going to try to do this. That's a great idea, Tony. Tony's a real helpful guy like that in general. I very much appreciate him. Oh, you know what? This thing is going to echo like mad. So let me. I know how I'm going to fix it too. Let's see here. All right, I'm going to try to go down into the shop. This actually looks like it's working. All right. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but there is one of Cope's dailies there. See if I can see the chat. Can you guys hear me? I don't know if you can hear me or not. However, there's one of Cope's dailies. That's Mr. CRT. Oh, cool. Good. Down below that, you can see the Power Wagon. That is a test truck for testing out the Casper-Matic. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more going on the channel pretty soon. There is that Charger 46RH. There's Mr. Haney, of course. There's that beautiful Challenger. Coronet is down here. Valve bodies galore in this place. Transmission cores over there. Transmission cores over there. Transmission cores everywhere. Oh, and this isn't even the room where he keeps them. This is just kind of like overflow. But really cool shop. Decorated really well with lots of cool stuff. It's a fun place. And you can see more of the bar. So this is the other side of it. It's like a ski lodge. This is not automotive themed in here. It's about the only place in this entire building that is not automotive themed. See my little mobile command center all messy there. Jukebox, pool table, console gaming. Yeah. There we go. How's the tour? I think it worked out pretty good. Yeah, don't worry about it, Danny boy. I got rid of it. But what's the fan look like? All the fans in here are great. None of these fans came from a 40% off sale. It's a great question, though. Have a pizza, get a drink, and work on cars. Well, got the Diet Dr. Pepper. I don't know if where's Cope? Cope isn't feeling well, but I believe he was watching. He may still be. He wasn't feeling well this morning, and wouldn't be able to make the live this evening. Yeah, Heavens Mopars, it's cool, especially if you're a transmission nerd. It's cool if you're a gearhead in general, but if you like transmissions, wow. I have no idea how many valve bodies are in this place, how many hundred, but it is amazing. Yeah, Cope is here. There we go. And One-Eyed Cat. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit about the transmission for One-Eyed Cat. So my original plan coming up here was to do an A500, but I said, you know what? Let's get Don's done now and here, because every time I'm here, I get to learn new things, and it's just, first of all, it's so much fun. Love to get to see Cope and Lucas and just come see these folks. We have all kinds of fun. We tour around the area and explore, and we always have some good Chicago food. And, but the transmission stuff is just big to me. I love it. I just think it's cool. So always learning. I've never been here I didn't learn some kind of new trick. It's just so cool. It makes everything work better. And we incorporated some new fun little things into Don's transmission. So speaking of that, I'm going to show you all that. So let's go to that, actually. So this is Don's transmission. I got up at 1 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, got here by afternoon. It's a long haul. Unloaded the transmission, had it torn down, diagnosed the hard parts before dinner. So there's the transmission. There you go, Slant Daily. Your favorite zoom technique there. It's an orange 73 Torque Flight. It's been in two before, but it's pretty good. Had very few hard parts that were a problem. Justin Hill, how long visit? I plan to be here tomorrow. Champion plug signs, is that for lawnmowers? I don't know. But anyway, there's the transmission. Got it down. Oh, there's an even better picture. So that's what we started with right there. It's a good core. A little rough. There were 7 springs in the high gear drum. And some people will reduce the number of springs attempting to get more pressure on application, but that's not the way to do it. We actually upgraded at the 15 springs and higher pressure in the valve body. But that's a common thing people would do. But yeah. We upgraded to 15 springs in that drum, high pressure in the valve body. Taking it down, I've got most of the guts out. Obviously, the output's still in it, right there. Wilburn by himself at the dive bar drinking kitty cocktails. No, not my style. So, one thing here, let me tell you, you take a transmission down here, it is not for the faint of heart. You see that basket? It's like take the thing down and throw absolutely everything in the basket. I mean, every snap rings, check ball, spring, washer, screw, everything. Seal rings, it all just goes in this basket. No book, no laying it out, nothing. Cope has the book in his head, and he knows where absolutely every single one of those things goes. It weirded me out big time the first time. I never did that before ever. And they said when I went to trade school not to do that. Auto shop trade school not to do that. But the coach's like, no, you just take it all apart, throw everything in there. I know where every single piece will go. And he did. He knew where every piece went. This is the get it to come out. This there's the steel out of forward drum, one of them. It got a little bit hot. That steel got just a little bit hot, as you can tell. Look at that thing. So there was no clearance. It was actually preloaded. Fix that. Oh, yeah. Oil pans are in. If you want a deep pan for your 727 and deep pan for a car, deep pan for a truck, both are here. Nice pans. So all parts go in the cooker. Take a little Christmas tree looking thing and you put all your parts on it, get them all washed down. There's the Power Wagon. And this is a sign I made to reserve my parking space. Parking for the 904 King only. Yeah. Let's see here. So, all down, all out of the cooker right there. That's where I left off Wednesday night, right there. This one is one that was on Cope's bench. That's a 727 he's doing there. I don't know whose that is, but it's cool. And when you guys give Cope channel stickers, this is where they go. They go in a cabinet there in the build room. There's a lot of you guys stickers on that cabinet. Oh, this is cool. So when they modify valve bodies for shift kits and for manual operation or whatnot, there's a lot of milling procedures have to be done on the valve bodies. CNC mill running, set up to do 3 at a time. So anyway, when I got all that done, I put the bear case in there for paint. I put some cast blast on it. So turned out really nice. Junkyard D says, I need one of those pans. They have drain plugs and a provision for a temp sensor. They do have drain plugs. I don't know if they have provision for a temp sensor, but I'm sure you could add one. Cope says he's homesick. Okay. I took all the stuff out of the basket, blew dry it with air, threw it in the pan. Away we went. There it is, the 15 springs loaded in there. I've got, took some video where I air checked it. 85 thousandths on the high gear drum. You can quite see that from the glare, but I did these videos for Don to show them where they were. We got 85 on high, 30 on forward. Wish I showed up a little better. I may mash these up into a video and put them up. The Belleville spring had a little bit of wear to it. It had a little bit of slop, so we replaced that and it made that much better. Oh, you can see good there. 30 thousandths on the nose for forward. Used a 72,000 snap ring to get it. There is the factory sprag that was in it. Don wanted a bolt-in sprag. That was a lot of fun. So there's the sprag. I'd never put a bolt-in sprag in before. So it's the first time doing that. And that was really interesting. It's simple, but it's an interesting little operation. You do it. And this, I did a video on this little case mod here last time. And I haven't put it up, but I'll show you guys the picture. So on the case, when you take off your support for the output shaft, there's a little ramp right there. And the other side of that ramp comes out right where the rear drum ride, or the rear, I guess that'd be the rear ring gear rides. And it can wear into the case. And that little tiny 1/16 inch weep hole allows a little tiny bit of oil to get on it and stops it from wearing the cases. It's in the perfect spot. So there we go. There's the bolt-in sprag. You got to clean out the little metal shavings where the factory presses it into the case. Something very interesting that Cope told me. I had no idea. Let's see if I can get a picture of that, because it's really cool, and I didn't know it. I bet you guys will find this interesting too. Okay. I had no idea this. Like I said, you learn new things every time. See that groove on the outside of the sprag? You see the little knurls where the thing is knurled and reeded like a coin? Well, there's a groove there, and it doesn't look like there's any functional reason for that groove. I mean, it disappears into the case. The point of the groove is because when they press these into a fresh case, the case, of course, doesn't have those. So it's a press fit, and it's knurled. When they press it in, that groove catches the metal shavings so that the sprag will lay flat in the case. Well, when you take it out, there's metal shavings there. Well, I didn't realize that. I took a drift and knocked the sprag out of it, and I'm like, my goodness, what is all that trash? It came off the case where the sprag pressed its way in. So I cleaned all that stuff out of there before putting the new one in. Had no idea. I'd never done that before. Oh, and you can see, oh, that's a great picture. So if you zoom in, you can see where I took it out of the case. You can see the marks it leaves on the case. Little metal shavings come off of all of those. So you do it upside down. The bell housing catches all your metal shavings. You move it, you can clean all that up. I'd never done a bolt-in sprag. I thought it was really cool. But anyway, there it is installed. Springs, rollers, the whole bit. I tried to get all the sub-assemblies done first, but I had to wait for the paint on the pump to dry. Had a stock lever in it for the band on second gear, put in a 4.2 lever. Nice USA made, of course, billet CRT part. You can really see the difference there. Longer lever, quick apply. Starting to get things together there. Let's see what you can see in here. So here I got both servos in. About together there except for the valve body. Nothing too exotic. Use new bands, of course. The rear band was pretty smoked. But, yeah, it's good stuff. Red pump, of course. And then that was enough for the day. I had to finish up the day. So we went over to Portillo's, where I had a nice Italian beef with green peppers, and it's delicious. It is delicious. So here's something that you got to know. So Cope, he lives the lifestyle. In his daily driver, he has a PPP shifter and manual valve body in his truck. 4-speed automatic manual valve body with a PPP shifter. It shifts hard and firm. I know we've drifted in that truck, and it's a dually. So he lives the life. He daily drives this stuff that he makes. That is called legit. And I don't know, that's just one of me oddly. I was working on the governor, making sure the governor's clear, moved, free, and all that good stuff right there. Got everything laid out for the valve body. So for the valve body, nothing in the budget. We'll talk about the budget for this later because I think it's interesting and relevant to everybody. But got everything cleaned. factory plate, valve body, both halves. Oh, wow, you got to see this. So this we did. The only person who's seen this is Don. That's the laser machine out in the shop. The laser etches parts. Doing its thing. And this 6-screw valve body plate here. It says built for Don English, the one-eyed cat. So that's on top of his valve body. We make modifications to the separator plate, the case. And Lucas stuck that on there, built by Wilburn. He says he always puts his name on the ones he builds on that little plate there. That's cute. But valve body came together nice. The valves were all really nice. They polished up nice, but that rooster comb there had a lot of slop in it, so that needed to get tightened up. But yeah, the valve body looks great. So one thing you'll notice on this, Cope Racing Transmissions is known for high-end stuff, and high-end stuff they have. This transmission has all of the quality, okay? It does not have billet parts, like no billet shafts, no billet drums. We don't have any of the high-end stuff like that in there, but the functional stuff. This thing was blueprinted to specs. It's a really high-quality build, so it's not as flashy, but it's a really good build, and that's in the name of saving money. Now, oh, by the way, now there are some super nice parts in here, of course, like that billet O-ring filter extension. How nice is that? They sell that in a kit with the deep pans, which this also has. There's the blocker rod, aluminum accumulator blocker rod. There we are, a little closer. Right before I stab the valve body in, put the valve body in and filter. Let's see here. I thought I had taken a picture before, but I had not. So I got the valve body in. There's transmission on the cart ready to load up. And I must not have taken one before I put the pan on, but the neutral safety switch was all mangled up on that thing. I don't know why, but we put a new one in there and a new deep 518 factory pan. So it is ready to rock and roll. Look for that to make some noise in the One-Eyed Cat's Valiant soon. Oh, no. My camera. Uh-oh. Something knocked out my camera. It is really finicky. Let me see if I can fix that. If I can't, maybe stuck with what I have here. Yeah. Maybe stuck with this. Well, whatever. Surely nobody watches this to see me. But if I can fix it, I'd like to. I'd like to run off my other camera, but it will not. I had a miserable time trying to get it on the Brio earlier. Whatever. It works, right? So the deal with this build, I had traded Don. So Don is just a prince of a guy, and he's just loves to be helpful. He's not selfish. He's a good dude. He knew that I needed an engine for the Roadrunner because I didn't have an engine for the Roadrunner. So I was looking for just something basic. He said, hey, I've got this 383 in my garage. It's just sitting there. It came out of the Valiant. It's got a 400 cast crank in it. It's complete. I said, well, cool. I mean, Don says, I think he said, you just have it. And I was like, I'm going to treat you right. He said, well, how about we make a trade? And I said, well, I'll build that 727 for you. And I said, I'm going to say that 383 is worth $500. I think that's a plenty fair number, right? Complete big block, whatever. So Don said, sure. I said, well, I'll put that in trade and build you the best 727 I can for $500. So we fudged on that number a little bit, and but you can build a really nice 727, depending on how much power you're going to be throwing at it, and you can save money. So there's no billet valve body, but it does have a valve body designed to shift. I think they call it the Pro Street valve body here, but it's an automatic shift. It's got an improved shift, higher pressure. It's a good valve body. The frictions, not high-end frictions, doesn't need them. When you're running higher pressure, you don't necessarily have to. When the transmission's built right, you don't necessarily have to. You can't crutch a bad build with better frictions. This is a good build. It should last on a very long time. We did all the little things like the deep pan, the apply lever, just being built to really good standards is a huge help. Polished all the valves in the valve body, pump gears. Really tried to do a super good quality build for it. And plus, every time I come here, I get to learn new things about what makes these transmissions work. Cope told me a lot of really interesting stuff about getting how not to kill third gear and how to the timing. The timing is so important with transmissions. Timing going from 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. It's really interesting when you get him in a rabbit hole of the tech with this stuff. It's amazing. Raining Slant 6 with a chance of cannonball says, what am I cooking up at Cope's? Probably some stuff I'll put up on my channel, but I built the 727 for Don, the one-eyed cat English. He's going in his 62 Valiant. Don says, I was ready to hook you up. This deal worked good for both. Right. Well, I tell you, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. So the 383 gets to live on, and your 727 will hopefully, you're going to be running quicker next year in, you're going to be running quicker next year in Sykeston, hopefully, if we're there, or No Name Nationals, or anywhere else you want to race. So it'll be a good piece. John Cope is the Mopar equivalent of a Rossler Turbo 400 or Rossler 4L80E. Cope is just Cope. He's a good dude. Stevie Fast, will you ever use one of these transmissions? Well, I'm not using this one. Dawn is. Yeah. Say hey to my Casper-Matic. I saw your Casper-Matic today, but it's on the dyno. I believe it's still in the transmission on the dyno. Transmission's getting tired, but still running. Well, this one's gonna shift pretty nice. This one's gonna feel different. It should shift. You should be happy with the way it shifts. We didn't go full manual or get crazy with it, but it's gonna be a much improved automatic transmission experience for you, Don. Justin Neal says, how far from home? About 600 miles. It's a solid day getting here. But I love it. I love to come visit these guys. It's so much fun. We have a blast and get to learn a lot. If you're not having a good time hanging out with Cope and Lucas, there's something wrong with you. Dust Devil Garage says, howdy, John. Well, howdy, Dust Devil Brian. Danny Boyd says, chirp second. You can actually chirp first. Some of these cars, you put them in reverse, especially in reverse, because you've got so much pressure in reverse, they'll chirp going into, gear. They're stout. Yeah, I got to tell you, I told Cope that I was really thrilled to be doing this because, I want to learn, I enjoy it, but also I'm really thrilled to be doing something, with Don. I just really wanted to do something like this with Don. It's just great to be doing something. Don has a great attitude. Dizzy turned 65 today and won a new electric tester set from Busted Air. Oh, awesome, Dizzy. I'm glad you did. Happy birthday. Dust Devil says, with that trans behind a fresh 440, my drive shaft or rear end's going to be the weak link now. Well, hey, bring it on. There's a whole lot more we can do past that 8 1/4. I'll tell you that. B&R watches a guy in New York building Muncie 4 speeds and classic 4 top loaders. Right on. Mopar, I could be assuming you mean 833. My late friend Robert was the Ford top loader guru. The man knew a lot about the top loader Ford. I learned a lot from him about those things. They're interesting. Reverse hits a little hard, kind of. It can. Oh, yeah. Because you get a lot of pressure in reverse going in. Sounds like you might have a bit of a cold. Well, I don't know. It's kind of chilly here, but I mean, that's not untrue. Been kind of chilly today. It was warm yesterday. It was really nice yesterday afternoon. Yeah, happy birthday, Dizzy. Are your scratches healing up good where you were diving under there working on your Valiant in Sykeston? Man, you scratched yourself up something bad. I mean, it earned you the Drive Line Down award, but that's a hard way to earn it. Dean says to B&R, I'm trying to calculate how many 1-inch holes in 16 gauge at 7.85 relative density to remove 1,066 pounds. Well, right on. Dougster says it was 66 when he walked out the door this morning. Now it's 45. Well, it's cold. What can I say? Dropping and going to frosting? Yeah, it could be. But anyway, that's the formula for the 727. It's a nice build, and it should do everything Don needs. I think it's relative to a lot of what you guys may want to do. If you're not making piles and piles of power and you're not running a brake, I mean, I think the build like this would be a good way to go. We obviously saved a little bit places where we could, with things like hardware and stuff like that, things that don't affect the performance, but do, keep the costs down, and worked out good. Worked out real well, actually. 40 degrees in Idaho, Justin Hill says. Yikes. Mean Street Mopars here. How's it going, sir? First Responder Garage says, what stall? I don't know. It depends what Don wants to run in it. DNR's talk about a 63 Pontiac Swiss cheese Catalina formula. Got 1,000 pounds out of a full window safety glass. Yeah. Don Cat says, now I need a parts list for the other 440. There you go. You know what, One-Eyed Cat? You know what would be a good way to do that? But you reach out to Just Mopar Joe. Joe is thrifty in the right ways. He knows where to save and where not to get a really good quality 440. He would be a good one to work with on that. Yeah, we can help you with that, One-Eyed Cat. We can help you with that. No problem. Acid dip body to the max. Well, do that or drill a bunch of holes. Ugh. I'm not a fan of any of that. Yeah, Don, that's who I'd ask. Reach out to Joe. There's a lot of us here who could do a good job. I just think Joe would be real well suited to that. Dakota says it's going to have to be good for him to run down my Trans Am. Well, we'll see. Main Street Mopar, does anyone know how much horsepower a 23 spline 833 can handle? A bunch. That 23 and 18 spline stuff is ridiculous. 23 is just fine. The biggest thing for 18 spline is so guys can say, I have the Hemi transmission. Whoop-de-doo. Rigby, Idaho, where the television was invented. Barrows, I just would never, ever have even thought to wonder that in my life. But that's an amazing factoid there. Hopefully that will stick with me for a very long time. You know what? I don't know how well this is going to work, but you know what I'm going to try to do? I've got to get that orange paper. So I'm going to see if I can do this again. We're going to try it again. You're going to go with me. We're going to try to go retrieve it. We'll try to retrieve the orange paper. Let's do it. All right. Okay, this is working. All right. All right, there's the orange paper. Valve body bench. Stuff going on. Lucas has got to get that one finished up. Parts room. Hood. There's the orange paper. We got it now. You feel better? We now have the orange paper. Yeah, quite a shop. Landon. Nice setup, indeed it is. Wilbur is technically challenged. Feedback, yeah. Well, it's because I forgot to mute my mic. Can't have both going. But we retrieved the orange paper. I was hoping Lucas would come in here. Lucas may drop by in a little bit. You guys can meet him. Thought that'd be different. Could take you with me. I added that like Tony suggested. See, there you go, Slant Daily. The orange paper. I had it in the build room. It's been here the whole time. Ultimate shop. Yeah, it's a nice shop. It's got several lifts. It's a good shop. It's blank, no more in and in. Oh, yeah, there's a No Name Nationals. There's going to be a date on there come New Year's Eve. One-eyed cat, bring the warp ring back. Yeah, that's why I kept it. I kept it for you, Dawn. I knew you'd want that for a wall hanger or something. Yeah, there's going to be a number on there before you know it. Danny Boyd says that AC is going to be iced up now. Danny Boyd, do you have any idea how much I would not want to run the air conditioning right now? Lucas under Cope's wing is a winning combination? Absolutely. Lucas is a winner. He is a good dude. Really sharp. He probably knows more about transmissions than any 19-year-old in the country. And I'm not even kidding. For those of you who did not get to see it, because I know people, sometimes we have different shifts come in and out of here, but this is the transmission. Oh gosh, that's right, I'm on a different camera. This is the transmission for the one-eyed cat. Notice how the pan, Dawn, if you look, the pan is studded, the pan rail. So no more trying to fish those bolts through. Now you can just change it just like that. You don't have to deal with it quite as often. Simply the fact you got a drain plug, which is nice. No more taking down a pan full of oil. So you've got studs there, and if you can see them, you've also got studs in the extension housing. So you got studs both places. Yeah, if I was here anytime between New Year's Eve and the No Name Nationals, there will be a number on that paper. That's why there's no number. You don't have to unfinished project. There's a nice taper on it. It's much easier. It's much easier to deal with the studded pan rail. Drain plugs and automatics, what a concept. I have no idea on earth why anybody ever made a drain pan that didn't have a drain, that had made a transmission pan that didn't have a drain plug. Steve Lyons is here. So, by the way, look at Steve Lyons here. I went to pick up some parts for him on Monday before heading up here. I show up and I recognize the shop. I had been on his property probably 10 years prior. Saw his duster there. I get there. The guy greets me. He has a cold Dr. Pepper out of nowhere to greet me. He had seen that I always have one on my live. You missed it, Steve. My camera conked out. So I'm on the backup camera on the laptop right now, which is okay. It's just close up and wonky like this. But yeah, he greets me with a Diet Dr. Pepper and mentions Cope's 3-bladed ceiling fan. Nice guy, though. So Cope got some more cores in here and valve bodies and cases and such. So pick that up. Junkyard D, you having a New Year's live? Pretty close to it. I'll probably announce on the Friday before New Year's Eve. First responder, I don't understand why torque converters stopped coming with drain plugs. No idea. Be nice to be able to drain that too. There's Raging Cajun Garage. How's it going? Cope says wipe off the camera lens. I can, but it's not even that. It's just I'm running off the camera on the laptop. So it's always crummy like that. It's like a 480 camera. I don't even know if I can on that particular camera. I don't know. It's since 720. It's all I got. So, yeah, forget that. That's all I can do. Yeah, see, I was live on Auto Salvage Outlaws live a couple nights ago and ran off that Brio, and tonight it will not do it. My 727 has a factory trans brake. Is it a motorhome or a truck transmission with the brake drum on the back? Don says, next I'll see you have a diet dog cripple with 2 straws. Well, that's nice, Don. I appreciate that. See you, Andy. Take care, man. On the valve body topic, I wish the throttle valve wasn't so hard to get right with non-factory induction stuff. Yeah, it's I don't know. Got to work with it to get it right, or just go to a manual, not have to worry about it. Manual valve body. First responder wants to know if that was assembled in the Niagara plant. No, they made them. I think that red pump looks really hot. That's a thing here, doing the pumps in red. The cool kids don't use throttle valves. Well, do it either way here. 69 to 71 motorhome, roughly. Yeah. Why red? I don't know. Why not? I guess because Cope likes red. Look at the Coronet. Look at Mr. Haney. See, obviously he likes red. I do too. I did a red pump in a couple before doing any of them here. So Buff Del Campo says, please tell us about the kick down the 904. May I just leave it in a position I like or will it hurt the trans? Well, Buff, the way I understand it, those of you who know can chime in, so I expect some of you will, but the way I understand it is that you just set your linkage so that you can get to wide open throttle, and it pushes the linkage all the way back. I mean, that's the way I understand it. So you basically max your linkage, max your throttle, run the linkage up to the throttle so that at max throttle, you're at max throttle pressure. Danny Boyd says, you automatic transmissions are real gurus. Well, I'm a hack. I just like them. I think I estimated pretty close to about 15 transmissions, something like that. What color were they from the factory? I don't think they were any color. I think they just left them in bare steel. The pumps, and of course, aluminum. Dizzy Izzy says, messed up one of those pumps once. Converter wasn't all the way in. Learned by doing. Dizzy, I did that exactly one time too. Sure did. I had a pump slide forward. It was all the way in, and then I let it slide forward. I didn't know. I didn't see it right. I broke the pump. It happens. Danny Boyd said the Ford AODs would burn up when the throttle valve cable bushing broke. Those transmissions would burn up from looking at them. Yeah, this was fun for me too because I'd only done a couple of 727s, and I think the only other one I've been all the way into is a motorhome. And, like anything else you don't do, but every however many years, you just, you got to think from, oh, yeah, this goes there. I almost put a lip seal in backwards Just was looking at the servo the wrong way. And that stuff happens when you don't do it every day. These guys who do it every day, man, they make it look so easy. I have to sit and think about it. Doing this stuff at home sometimes, yeah, man, I messed that up. And I turn it around, but you know. But the 727 was nice because I'm much more used to the 904 stuff. So the differences with the 727s were really neat. The sprag is really, okay. Like one thing I did, the bolt-in sprag. When I took the bolts out to install it to put the rear output support on, I started to look for the factory bolts. The reason being, 904 has factory bolts that go through to the sprag race. I was trying to do it like a 904. I was like, "What are you doing? You got to use those bolts." I went, well, I didn't even think about that because the 727 uses a shorter bolt because it bolts into the aluminum. It doesn't bolt all the way through into the sprag race until you use the long bolts. So just stuff like that. It was neat. And that different spring arrangement, which is superior with a 727 to a 904, having the either 10 or 15 springs in that forward, or not forward, but in the front drum, high gear drum, which is nice. CRT sells a little upgrade for that to do to the 904, so you can have a multiple spring pack, an improvement over what the factory did. The factory just put one giant spring on there. First Responders is 413, has super thick cylinders. Yeah. Small bore, too. Buck's in the house. Hey, Buck, there's your transmission guy's Buck. He's been rocking today. Buck sent me a question because he knew I just sent him a picture of Don's. He sent me a question, says, "Hey, about the clearance in that drum, and just how often do you ever send me a transmission question?" I just happened to be sitting there eating lunch with Cope and Lucas, so got to have a meeting with the experts and give that back to Buck. So how cool was that? Chrysler Corporation had to pay to get thin wall castings in the later 400s. Cool. First Responder has a 71 413 out of a motorhome and a 65 413 block. And Dizzy is curious if he wants to get rid of one of them. You gonna go big block in that Valiant, Dizzy? Steels will freewheel. Rating slant six, the chance cannonball says steels will freewheel past each other with near zero drag and friction, so long as the clutch pack and retainer has the proper stack clearance in the drum. Well, that clearance is a big deal. You don't need nearly as much clearance in the forward. It's on all the time, but you got to have good clearance in that high gear drum. Don's, the high gear is 85 thousandths and the forward is 30. Right on the money. With his, I took a 60,000 snap ring and the high gear was perfect. First try. The forward, of course, it has that wavy ring in it. And I replaced that with a flat. But even when I replaced it with a flat, I started with a 60. Had too much. I put a 72 in it, 30 on the nose. So there we go. Another advantage to doing them here is because, like, I have a stack of different snap rings for a 904, and I think the 904, and I think the TH350 or $700 is the same snap ring. So I've got a few thicknesses, not all of them, but I got several different ones for a 904. But I don't have that for 727, so I'd have to measure it all out and then order snap rings. It's nice to do one-stop shopping. So Doug's 413 is in his shop truck. Cool. So Cope sent me this. Check it out. Cope Racing Transmissions. I did it again. I'm reaching for the camera I'm used to. Cope Racing Transmissions, 10% off Black Friday deals. There you go. Happy to put that out there for you guys. So it says 10% off all parts, not including torque converters, or $100 off any CRT Pro Series transmission. Sale is Black Friday and Cyber Monday only. So, in case you didn't know, for a limited time, these guys are offering transmission builds. They haven't done that in a couple of years. They've just been doing valve bodies and components, but for a limited time, they're doing full transmission builds here. So you guys should think about it if you want to step up to a really nice piece like that. Yep, Jake and Elwood approve this message. So there you go. I'll put that out there. Black Friday and Cyber Monday only. 10% off, not including torque converters, and discount on transmission builds. Or $100 off any CRT Pro Series transmission. Ron English is here. What's happening? Yeah, Ron, you missed it. You might want to scroll back to about, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes in. I gave a little slideshow on Don's transmission. Fortunately, right before my primary camera went kaput. It's okay, Cope. I'm having the last laugh. Okay. You going to outlive him? Is that the idea? Cope says vote Trump. Well, I don't talk politics on here. I mean, I think it's much more interesting to talk cars, but I have absolutely no problem with people knowing I vote for Trump. But I mean, it's like people really recoil and freak out if it comes into their chat. Big deal. Everybody in here votes for somebody. What do you do? J-Bo swung back by. J-Bo, I think you'd like this build. I'll tell you what, J-Bo has a good build going. You can check on his channel on a 904 over there. J-Bo is a good transmission guy. Heavens Mopar is asking, will Cope ship a transmission back if I have him rebuild one if I send him one? Well, Cope, if you're watching, that's a good question. Heavens Mopars, you can also call the shop and ask. I know one thing. I will say this, and I'm speaking for Cope, but I do see he is happy getting business like that and doing stuff with the YouTubers. It is cool. He genuinely likes doing stuff with people in this community. %, double Tootsie Roll sold, yes. Unfinished project, only call when Cope is trying to film a video. Well, phone rings all the time anyway, so. But I will say, Cope's a very gracious host. It's very nice. Do I get any complimentary Tootsie Roll? You know what, Don? I should have thrown some of those in the pan for you. How much you'd had to have taken it off. I didn't even think about it. No, Cope is a very gracious host. I really appreciate him. He's just lets me have the run of the place and hang out here in the bar, and it works out really good. No, Don, the one-eyed cat. I'm really looking forward to seeing you with this at the Valiant. Just want to see a big grin from ear to ear with it doing all the stuff it's supposed to do. Steve Lyons has learned the hard way to always replace bevel springs in 727s now. You know what? It's funny you say that, Steve. The bevel spring in this 727 had just a little bit of wear. It actually didn't look that bad. I mean, when I looked at it, I put it back in there, and it just had a little too much slop. The forward drum in the 727 and input are they're two pieces, unlike a 904, and you put it together with a snap ring and a spacer, and it would, it just had too much slop in it. And so when I replaced that bevel spring, it took half of that out of there. I didn't realize it would make that much difference because in a 904, again, it's not even a thing. It's one piece. But you're exactly right. The bevel spring and the dish on it and everything looked perfect. It was just a little bit of wear. Free motel room at the shop, right? I'm crashing right there. It's great. It's a great place to crash. One-Eyed Cat, we appreciate you very much. Cope Racing Transmissions with a bar and pizza. If Cope felt better, we would probably be eating Aurelio's or something from the bar up here, but he's got to take a rain check. Hopefully we'll have him on alive again soon. Read my comment earlier about stating Reed Racing tip to allow clutches and steels to separate. Yeah, I know a little idea on that too. Little modification done to my 904. Ballast resistor garage. Kinda. There's a train that goes by so close to these windows it just shakes the place. Kinda. Go Praise Transmissions as Wilbur and I have fun goofing. We have a blast. We have so much fun. We went to Chicago looking at Christmas lights last year. We're going on, Upper Wacker Drive, Lower Wacker Drive, and around the place, and showing me, where the House of Blues is and all this different stuff. And we're just riding around talking about the Blues Brothers route. And, what's that place? I can't think of the name of it. That place was always on Saturday Night Live. We go down around there, and he's drifting the corners in the snow in his dually, just cackling, having a great time. Yeah, we have a blast. Always having fun. Is Aurelio's hand tossed or thick crust? It's a thin crust. It's really good. Thin crust, yes. That rig being warped is not a surprise. Uncle Stunny runs his stuff. Yeah, this was a good core, though. It was a good core. Gosh, the worst part about this core is that the hardware looks terrible. I'm going to clean the hardware up a little bit before you get it. Billy Goats. That's the place. That's the place. Yeah, but I'd never been to Chicago. That was fun. That was neat. He dared me to stick my feet in Lake Michigan. Didn't think I'd do it. Man, was he wrong? Of course I did. I had some really sketchy person wandering around down there, but she saw me sticking my feet in water that was almost frozen. It's like, no, I'm not going to bother that guy. One-Eyed Cat's going to run a CRT stickers with pride. Oh, cool. Yeah, it is fun getting to try the different food up here. Chicago hot dogs are different. They're not like anywhere else in the country. They have quite a bit of garden to them. Peppers, onions, tomatoes. And I'm not talking just like relishes and pieces. I'm talking like the whole thing. like full green peppers, big pieces of tomato and onion. And they're on poppy seed buns, and there's just different. The Chicago hot dog is different. It's good. It's good. And mustard, and you cannot have ketchup on it. Just mustard. Dizzy Izzy has more than one tooth scar on my knuckles, too many to count. DNR says firearm-free zone, John, Chicago, but ignore, trust me. DNR, I have an Illinois carry permit anyway. Cope says, what's Jenny's number? 8675, your ceiling fan 09. How about that? Dougster says Lake Superior is bitter cold in August. Indeed it is. Can't imagine it's not just freezing cold all the time. Well, Dean, the Aurelio's pizza here, again, it's different. It's culturally different. It's a thin crust, and it's delicious. Their sauce is delicious, and it's square cut. Just good stuff. I like trying different foods from them. The different cultures like this. Ron English says we need an 8-barrel to run this build, and maybe a 323. Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good gear for that car. It's not bad. 323, you can still get out, do a lot of good cruising and everything. And if you plan on driving the car hundreds of miles, you probably would rather have, like a 276 or 294. My van's a 294. It's quite happy on the road. 323 is fine. 355 is a little tiny bit much. Once you go above that, it starts really winding up good on the highway. Raining Slant 6 with a chance of cannonball says the O-rings in each and every dog groove around the inside perimeter of a clutch drum between each outer tab of clutch steel. Centrifugal force hold them toward the dog grooves on the inside of the drum wall. That's interesting. Dizzy Izzy says, Dean, some folks have no association with the truth. Okay. I wasn't talking about Brian Cabral, but whatever. Dakota says Trans Am has 373s, not good for the highway, right? If they rip. Don said the current 245 loves the highway. By the way, Don, that brings up an interesting point. You have got to have the roachiest looking speedometer pinion ever in that thing. And I just put it back because I know that you're going to change the gear eventually. See if I can find that. I put it back. And by the way it was installed in the car, it wasn't even turning. Somebody had clocked it wrong. It wasn't even touching the output shaft. But I put it back. I can't find a picture of it. It's just in there now, but it's a 26 tooth pinion, if you're curious. Danny Boyd says 323 sounds low, but that 440 makes it much less of an issue. I think Don's car would be really happy with 323s and the 440. He can still get out on the highway in it. Dean Stevens says, I'm hoping I'll be able to buy my own justice system. Well, obviously it's for sale in this country. We'll worry about the speedometer opinion. Yeah, exactly. Just figure out what gear you're going to run. We'll help you get that straightened out. It's no big deal. It's not hard to do or anything. I did put a new O-ring on it, but whatever. Just didn't want it to leak. But you do have to pull it out to get the clip on there to get your cable in. Dizzy's saying 355s. Well, it depends what you want to do with it. I mean, how often are you racing it? 323s might be happier just for general purpose driving. Well, 355 is not a bad choice either. I definitely wouldn't go any steeper than that. What size soft plug to block that speedometer hole? Well, if you want to block it off like on a race car buck, I think it's is it 1 3/4? I think is what it is. If you want to stick a freeze plug in there. You can also get a really nice O-ring billet block off from Cope. That's what I have in my 904. But if you want to freeze plug it, like the hillbilly strut, these kind of things, if you want to freeze plug it, you could. I want to say it's 1 3/4. Mike Iben, the torque converter whisperer, is in the house. He says 323 gears were optional in New Yorkers. Yeah. Hey, Mike Iben. So, Don, the one-eyed cat there, is probably going to be needing a new torque converter. I don't know what he's planning on doing, but he's got a fresh transmission downstairs waiting for him. So, Don, if you want a guy who can build you a really good winning torque converter, there's your guy, Mike Iben. You know, Don, that actually, look at that. I say winning torque converter, and who shows up? Just Mopar Joe. Don, that actually is a great freaking idea. I'm planning to go see Iben and do some video up there. He's making a converter for me. That might be a great time to meet up there. He's in Pennsylvania, but on the other side. That might be an interesting trip to do both or something. I don't know. Danny Boyd says Aurelio's is too far from here. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice treat when I come up here. The only time I eat it, obviously, is when I come up here. And it's cool and it's special, and that's okay. What kind of transmission, Mike asks? 727 non-lockup. Should be able to do that all day long. Well, the good news, one-eyed cat, you certainly don't owe anything on the transmission. That's already free and clear. So that's a nice thing. As Cope said, he tells people don't stop spending money at the firewall, and that's a good point. I got to say, the more you learn about transmissions, the more interesting a lot of these things are. They're just really interesting. The timing of them is really interesting. The valve body is a hydraulic computer. Very interesting. So in Don's transmission, we did a CRT version shift kit, which has all the processes in it, and it's very interesting. You change the spring and you change some settings on pressures and so forth and so on, and modify a valve. And there's a lot of the typical shift kit stuff in it, but it's their own way of doing it, and that's what we did. So that was interesting. I'd never done their shift kit. My go-to before that was the B&M Trans Kit shift kit. No, Joe, I did not see that. Joe has a short out today. Oh, that's interesting. I'll check that out. Wait, that supercharger. I want to see it. Yeah, those things are stupid heavy. When I was at Shady Side Dragway with Andy Wood last winter, there was a guy there with a Demon. The thing was quiet, drove around through the pits. He went up to the line, made this quiet, easy, blistering 6 flat time after time, strode back to the pits like it was nothing. I'm like, wow. Ron English, No Name Nationals 2024. Let's go. Well, the paper's still blank. It's coming. Oh, Joe, I'm sure it does. I'm sure that engine weighs more than your 512. Rating slant 6 with a chance of cannonballs thinks that One-Eyed Cat's 62 Valiant. Two-door Valiant, lightest of all the early A-bodies with about 2,500 pounds. It's probably a little more than that. Maybe not. I don't know. A low block 383. Well, he's got a 440 for it. There's a 440 in it now. I'd like to know what Don's car weighs, actually. Don, you should do that. You should make a video weighing your car. Yeah, it's a 4-door. Yeah. That's right. They actually have a pair of them, a pair of white 62 Valiants. How often do you see one? They have two. Curb weight 2850. Yeah, I'd like to know what it actually weighs if you took it to a scale and weighed it. That'd be interesting, I think. I have a scale. Well, there you go. Next time you see Unfinished Project and recognize him, you can borrow a scale. New Guys Guitars in the house. How's it going? Mike Obbins says, when are we getting a tear down report on your transmission, Joe? Joe did that. It's up. It's up. They found 3 or 4 things going on in it. I was going to let them rob something out of that 518, but 518 you have to take down way too far to get it out. It's a piece he needed. I think it was I want to say it's the cover or retainer for the low reverse servo was bent. I would recommend Joe run a billet low reverse servo. Unfinished Project, you have to come to it. It's not mobile. Figured as much. He weighed it a few years ago, 3,006 pounds with 6 gallons of gas in it. Well, that's cool. Yeah, okay. Wow, 440 car that weighs 3,006 pounds, 6 gallons. That's pretty good. And that car's not all cut up and lightened up either. Full interior and all. Yeah, weighs less now because the undercoating's all gone. You can easily have 100 pounds of dealer undercoating on one of those things. The stator was shoved in and blocked the fluid from getting to the clutches. They came out that wavy. Wow. Lightweight is overrated for eighth. Well, I don't know about that, BNR. I mean, power to weight is the thing, no matter what you're doing, where you're running. The main thing is just come race and have fun. BNR, there's going to be a number on that orange paper back there before you know it. Joe, you should have seen one of the steels that came out of the forward drum on Don's transmission. Wavy like a Pringles. Joe says, I heard there's a Black Friday sale at Cope's. Indeed, there is. I'll put it up again. I'm telling you, I'm not going to get used to that being off a different camera. Black Friday, 10% off. Friday, Monday, both. Or Joe, $100 off a CRT Pro Series transmission, which a certain Purple Barracuda could use. No Hawk 62 thinks Don is coming for him. Yeah, man. I just hope to see both of you guys again when we're there next year. One-Eyed Cat Don kept a tub of undercoating he scraped off. Why are you keeping that, dude? If you want to weigh it, but man, get rid of that stuff. Dizzy Izzy says, Dean got run off the job, finished rolling a street downtown St. Louis by a car full of gangbangers, drove by slow, showing their guns. Okay. Vegan R says, I love torque. Who doesn't? Horsepower is just a function of torque and speed. So we should all love torque. Should try to put that back. There we go. That's a little better. Plugged in my other light. I might as well. One-Eyed Cat says, there's a hardtop 62 Valiant in the movie Corvette Summer. Indeed, there is. I remember that. Corvette Summer is a really good movie if you like cars. I recommend it. Love the van in that, Clint says. Yes, that is a very cool Chevy van. Chevy Shorty van, white. Twisted Mopar says, I need a billet drum and trans brake. You see it. There you go. Do it. For real. Next week. Do it. You should do it, Twisted Mopar. They're doing transmissions for at least a limited time right now. And after they had a couple of them on the bench down there right now. Fortunately for me, I got to upgrade and get a nice bench because Lucas was waiting on a billet drum to come in. So nice. I got to upgrade because he couldn't use his bench because he needed a piece. So that worked out good. But yeah, Twisted Dennis, you can get the transmission, you get a build it yourself kit, you get them. I could strongly recommend the billet manual with the brake. Be perfect for your car. And the billet drum, you don't have to worry about it coming through the floor or breaking. And you should run a drag sprag. That'd be right for your car. Dizzy says the Valiant and Duel. Yeah, wow. Duel's a good movie. I like that movie. Duel was actually a TV movie. It was actually a television movie of the week type movie. They showed it in 2 parts on TV. And they shot some extra footage to make a theatrical release. So they did some reshoots. And the truck that's at the train tracks is actually not the one that was in the movie because it was shot later. They built another one. The one at the end of the movie was destroyed. The one they made for those reshoots, it's still alive and well, living in eastern North Carolina. Sounds like Lucas is here. It's either that or Jim the Ghost. Well, look at that. Look at the cat drug in. We're on the backup camera, so we're looking all fuzzy and goofy.
How's it going, everybody?
This is Lucas.
Hello.
Yeah. Just talking about you. Said that you had to wait for a billet drum to come in, so I got to upgrade to your bench while you didn't have your parts.
Yep.
I sent him a message to retrieve the orange paper when he came in, but I went down and got it. I actually got on my phone and spun down, and we walked down there to get it. So that was cool.
Nice,
different.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Got to take a little shop tours. Got some neat stuff in down here.
Yep.
Slant Daily Garage is back. Cool. Glad you're here. The cat drug in a cat. Indeed.
Yes. Yep.
The
Yep.
second coolest person wearing cat attire on YouTube. Right?
Right.
So this is like a sampling of the Friday night crew.
Yeah.
We're just here hanging out. We do this every Friday. And I told them that Cope's a little under the weather. He's been in here sporadically. But he sent me this. So
The Coke.
yep.
10% off Black Friday sale. Anything that we. Yeah. No. Black Friday. We're running a sale. We do every single year. Day after Thanksgiving. Anything that we make in-house is 10% off. I don't know how long he's been doing it. He's been doing it for a long time, but I'm off on Friday because
How long has Cope been doing the sale?
Yeah, the sale. I have no idea.
A long time.
Long time. I did it even at his old shop.
Yep.
And I'm off Black Friday because all they do all day is they take in orders and they
yeah. Let your tech questions fly. We got Tech Lucas here. Yeah, there you go.
You could have I tried to make it here, a little bit earlier for some tech questions, but you got 30 minutes for me to answer any questions, well, less than that now. 30 minutes, answer any questions,
I got one for you.
What's that?
How do you adjust the valves on a 283?
Only Rich would know. Only Rich would
That
know.
seems to be the hardest question to answer on all of YouTube. Do you sell blankets? Trans blankets?
We do sell trans blankets. Yep.
Cool.
Yep. We have them in stock, ready to ship out.
Twisted Mopar Dennis wants to upgrade for the 512. Dennis, if you're 512, you definitely want to be running a good transmission behind that. So they're doing transmissions right now, limited time.
Month of November.
Yep.
You have to send in a deposit.
Yep.
And we're only doing race transmissions.
Yep.
Reverse manual valve bodies, billet drum, bolt-in sprag. We're not really messing with anything that's non-race car. Drag car, anything. We have a car in here that's actually getting a 46 RE, that Challenger downstairs. I don't know if you showed him that.
I did, yeah.
That's actually he's more of a street driving car, but he's going to do autocross, which is something that I do as well.
I'll tell you, Dennis, if you're looking to upgrade, now's the time.
Now is the time.
It's the perfect time.
Yep, it is the perfect time. Because I don't know when we're going to be doing transmissions again.
Right.
We just did it for the month of November. We got all caught up with all of our work for the year. We were just obviously I wasn't really designing the Casper-Matic, but John was busy designing the Casper-Matic valve body. So we got a lot. We thought that would probably take about a year. We had a bunch of valve bodies and parts going in and out all the time, and we decided,
Casper-Matic is running on the dyno,
about to
go on a test truck.
About to go on a test truck. It's
the second test truck.
The second test truck.
Yeah.
The actual drag racing test is what we're going to have it for.
Unfinished Project wants to know if JB Weld is actually recommended on Cope's trans brakes. You do use it in one place.
We do use it. All right. On where we mill our low reverse, like our low band apply, on some valve bodies, the wall gets really, really thin. And John has ran it without JB Weld. And we've ran it with welding, like the wall a little bit bigger, TIG welding it. But it's just as strong as JB Weld. We've had no problems with the JB Weld. But not all Cope Racing trans valve bodies have JB Weld in them, because some valve bodies have the thicker wall than most of them. Like I did a batch of 24. I machined out 24. Devin, who usually machines a valve body, he was out sick. He was feeling under the weather. So I just had to bust out 2 dozen, and about 10 of them have the thick wall, and 14 of them don't.
And you JB Weld pass through on the case for the electrical connector.
Yeah, you JB Weld it or silicone it. You JB Weld it or silicone it. I prefer, depends what it is, to be honest with you. It depends,
And if you run a late 80s 904, it already has a hole right in the perfect place.
Yeah.
if you're converting non-lockup.
Yep.
These guys every Friday they talk about no-name nationals. And we're like, what
so
are we,
far away.
10 months out?
Yeah, I don't know.
But the orange paper's there. There's no number yet.
I see the orange papers there. And there's no
So
number.
One-Eyed Cat, who we built the transmission for.
Well, you.
Well, but you get the stuff too.
Well, yeah,
I
lent him my tools. I lent him my toolbox.
He's distancing himself from the explosion that will happen.
That's not what I'm doing. It's not.
I'm just
so
kidding.
I helped him build that 727 big block that he did for Don.
Yeah.
And and he did great on it. I mean, it was a very simple build, really, just automatic shift.
Yeah.
But
it's simple, but it's a quality build.
It's a quality build.
Yes.
Oh, yes, very
Yes.
much so. Bolton, Scrag.
Well, the main thing is that we get an opportunity to learn from these guys because they know all kinds of cool tricks and stuff.
Absolutely.
So, after you showed me all the cool tricks to do a shift kit in a factory valve body,
Yep.
you got to learn how to do some stuff too.
I did. He showed me how to what did you say?
Detail strip.
Detail strip a Glock.
Right.
I've only ever done like a field strip, pretty basic. So he went more in depth and showed me,
We did a Glock all the way down, slide all the way down, firing pin, EDP, extractor, ejector, firing pin, safety, the works. The whole thing.
The works, yep.
And how the whole thing works. It was pretty cool.
Yep, absolutely. It was very cool.
Fun stuff. We're gonna try to do a training class up here sometime.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
training class or maybe just him showing me
See what happens.
out there, maybe get a outdoor range somewhere.
We're gonna see how Lucas can perform on a timer with the pistol.
Huh. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I shoot archery, but I haven't messed much about.
He's an accomplished shooter of the bow.
2-time state champion.
Yeah. He's legit.
I am legit. Yep. No championship for building transmissions, though. Just satisfied customers.
All right, I'm going to try to put a shot on the bullseye at 10 yards on a quarter at 10 yards.
Uh-huh.
And then he's going to shoot an arrow through the hole.
That's possible. I can probably do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
Except the problem with my arrows are probably not like that big. I'll just hit the whole quarter.
Izzy says, my first year is over before the 60-foot mark. How about 2/3? Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Nothing wrong with that.
what kind of gear ratio are you running?
He runs a 904. Dizzy, is your 904 a late or an early one? Is it
Yeah,
lock up
if
or not
if it's
lock up?
got the low gear set in it, I mean that's a real possibility. Also depends what you're revving out to. I mean, the low gear set's really, really, really good for cars that are NA, super, a little bit heavier. But if you have a super light car, maybe turboed or supercharged or, running a pretty tall gear, a lot of people I know, they go to a high gear set, I mean, but on a technicality, if you're running like, I don't know what kind of 60-foot time you'd have to run it, but usually a low gear set will help improve your 60-foot time unless you're running out of gear, right before the 60-foot.
Dizzy has a B&M 904, but I believe yours just has the 245, 145 first and second in it.
Yeah, it's a very real possibility.
Raining Slant 6 with Chance Cannonball says the only really unbelievable part of that movie Duel was near the end when Dennis Weaver's Slant 6 started to give up the ghost and the red oil pressure light came on just before he bailed. But it was still running, wasn't it?
I can't even read the comments,
Do I need to make that old people big font?
Yeah, kind of. I'm like,
what?
I'm a little far back.
Look.
There you go. That's perfect.
Does that work?
I can read that. Yeah.
I have this on old people bifocal 700 font.
No. The words are probably about that big. I'm probably about a good 5 feet back. Right?
5 feet back.
I'm about 5 feet back. It's like,
Oh, goodness.
oh yeah. Are you gonna have a live on Black Friday?
Oh, I don't know why not.
I don't know. Well, I just didn't
Yeah,
know. You know, a lot of
sure.
people take off Black Friday.
You should be a guest sometime from here when I'm at home.
Oh
We'll
yeah,
just do it
no,
on split screen. You want to do that?
I could do that sometime.
Well,
yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah, no, I can do it sometime.
Let's do it. And what you guys are going to do is you're going to come up with your most challenging tech questions for Lucas.
Challenging.
Yes, we're going to have transmission tech questions with Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas and COT.
That's right.
I do know. I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I do know quite a bit. Anybody that mostly calls the shop, unless it's about 904 stuff, because 904, we don't mess with 904. I don't, at least. That's all him right there. Did you show the live people your
yes
your sign?
I'll show it for the people who are just now getting in here.
Yeah. He brought a whole sign just to let everybody
That's
know.
right. I have a reserved parking sign here.
Yeah, he's hot stuff over
I have a reserved parking sign here.
Yep, parking for the 904 King only.
It even has a crown made from a sun shell. And of course, it's anchored down with a small bolt wheel. Just perfect for the 904.
Oh, it's absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
No, it's just 904s after how many variations they had of the 904.
Was it 15, 17?
There's so
something
many.
like that.
There's so many. When people trying to order parts, they honestly, really, if you're trying to order parts, most of the time, I or John, you'll have to send the part in so we can match it up with another part that we have.
There are a lot of running revisions on those things.
I know.
Like little ceiling rings.
Yeah, no, there's a whole different. It's the pumps get really, really confusing because they got like 5 different pumps and then beveled, unbeveled with all of them, and then you have to run the exact pump. And especially hard when people just mess up like one side of the pump. Then you have to try to match it up with another pump. Usually we just have to sell them the whole pump. But we don't sell a lot of 904 stuff, to be totally honest with you. John stopped doing that just because it's a lot of people, they don't know.
More for me.
What? Oh, yeah, more for. Yeah, when he comes here, you can. Yeah, you picked up a couple 904.
Yeah, I'm all about the 904.
Yeah.
I found a really nice 904 core to do something with last week, too.
Oh, yeah?
I love the late 80s, early 90s 999s. It's the perfect core to work with. Out of a truck. So it has the thick tail housing, the deep drum, the beveled pump.
Wow.
Got the tall splines on the forward. It's got all the good stuff in it. Has the 11 bolt-in sprag from the factory.
That's good stuff.
You get all good stuff. You get all good stuff on that one.
Yeah.
See, I like the 904. 727 though.
No,
You don't have to line up the pump. It's so much easier to deal with the pump on the 727.
It is really easy.
Yes.
I have nothing against 904s. I've built 904s. I've built 727s. It's just a lot smaller. And you know what?
Yes.
I have nothing against them. But I mean, if you're going to be running, big horsepower, big horsepower numbers, super heavy car, like that Charger we got up there, it's got to kind of be running. Come on, you got to kind of be running a 727 in the thing. Like, why wouldn't you? Come on.
I won't say it.
What?
The Charger's out there? No, you're not the yellow one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not the no.
Barrow says killing a slant 6 is a lot like messing up a valve job on a small block Chevy. You can do it, but you really, really have to work at it.
Oh, yeah.
What is Lucas's favorite ride in the Cope fleet? That's a great question.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I've driven every single one of John's cars.
Not the Cornet.
Not the Cornet. The Cornet was torn apart when I was born.
I was going to say, yeah.
When I was born, the Cornet got torn
It
apart.
hasn't been running in your lifetime.
For like 2 months.
Okay.
In my lifetime. We talked about this a couple times. So, to answer the question, my favorite ride in John Cope's fleet, it's It's got to be the Power Wagon.
Yeah,
I built it. I mean,
Power Wagon's really cool.
I've done a lot of stuff on Mr. Haney, but the Power Wagon was a really, really cool project that me and John started working every Friday on, and we got the motor. We put the motor in. We rewired the whole car, the whole truck. We did the transmission. I built half the stuff. I custom built a full exhaust for the thing. Like it's sentimental to me because we built it together, and I built it. Now, Mr. Haney, there was another guy here who put in the front end, and I've done stuff like I've rewired a couple things, Mr. Haney, and pulled the motor a couple times, pulled the transmission countless times for various reasons, like when we upgraded the trans, when we went to a first and second gear launch. So it's got to be the Power Wagon. If the Cornet was running, it'd be the Cornet. I've always loved the Cornet.
That Cornet is so cool.
It's so cool.
You can't walk by that car without looking at it. You can't do it. It's not possible.
He wanted to get rid of the graphics and stuff.
Come on!
But I love the graphic.
It's so cool.
It's so cool.
Yes.
Even if it's like the old one, it's so cool.
You know what he needs? He's got to grow the ball back to drive it.
I don't think.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, here we go.
Hey.
Here we go. You know where I'm going with this.
Hey, John's on him.
I see him.
I know.
Okay.
I saw him.
Okay, check this out. So here is my contact picture for Cope right here. If I can do this. There he is with the mullet in the door of the Cornet. When would this have been, Lucas? Like early 90s? This would be like 92-ish or so.
It was going 11. It was going 11-9.
What year would this have been? What year would this have been, Cope?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you what year.
I'd
have to say like mid 90s, probably. Mid 90s. Probably about 3-4 years ago, John had some real long hair.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, real long hair.
He needs to grow the mullet back out with the Cornet.
That Cornet. The Cornet is something that I'm real happy to get put together.
Oh, it's so cool.
It's so cool. It's so cool. It's so cool. It's built as a race car, and it's just so cool. No, working here has been, this bar is really cool.
It is, isn't it?
It is.
I like it.
And
it's a great little hangout.
Yeah. Well, actually, to respond to that comment, he was only doing
95.
95. He was only doing 11:09, but when the car was actually like in its prime state, when he was racing,
The potato.
Yeah, yeah. But when he was racing, he told me that it dipped into the 9s. But he was bracket racing when it happened, so he was dialed in at 10s. So he let off at the same time at the end, and he was running like 10:01, 10:02. He had a pretty good time, for especially just letting off whenever.
Is he saying shout out to Barkley for winning the Midwest Best last week? Yep. Barkley's a good dude. Yeah, Cope, I told people earlier, I said that we're talking about Lucas on here. I said, Lucas has got to know more about transmissions than any 19-year-old on the planet.
Know a lot about 727 trans. John's a great teacher. He always has been. He's right when I started, I dove right into it, and he didn't just tell me how to do it. He explained.
He'll always tell you why, not just
he'll always tell you why.
He'll
always tell you why. And honestly, he'll tell anything straight up, exactly how it is, And that goes with teaching somebody, and that goes with customers and whatnot. He'll tell like I've always told people on here. We've had bow buddies come back, and we'll admit if we did something wrong. We'll tell the customer so they don't go chasing their tail on something.
But sometimes the customer does something wrong. Won't admit it.
This is true. Sometimes, that we had the conversation earlier.
Yeah,
but,
it's all good. It's all business. That's the way it works.
It's all good. Yeah.
Raining Slant 6 with Chance of Cannonball says, wasn't Jenny 8675 Cope ceiling fan 09? Yes.
Coach ceiling fan
Yeah.
09. You know, I've been in John's house more times than I can count, and I've not.
You go see it every time now.
No. I'm gonna walk in there. And be
You're
like,
gonna see it now. Oh, you know, I should put this up on the screen.
The guts almost dropped
I
out
should-
of me if I pick up a 727.
I'm telling you, man, those things feel so heavy after.
Whoa. Well, you know, John did say today, he was like, well, he was trying to, finagle the 727 around to get it to lay down. He was like, these things don't get any lighter. And, to be honest with you, picking up a 904 and picking up a 727, I don't know if it's just because of my age, but both of them aren't that bad. You got to be. Now, picking up a 46, picking up a 47, 48.
Since he's got all that stuff about me on his community tab, I don't feel bad about putting this up. So there you go. Cope's 3-bladed fan.
No, it's
BNR Racing says small block Chevy V8 build becomes complicated when all aftermarket parts are used and it's high strung for 700 to 1,000 horsepower naturally aspirated. Well, yeah, I'd say.
Oh, absolutely. Autopilot function.
Don't they have an autopilot function? Do they?
I have no idea. I don't even know what that means, to be honest.
Well, you can have cruise control. Need to fix the cruise control of the van.
Cruise control. You should have said cruise control.
Well, I don't know.
But
it's Dean. Dean asks all kinds of wacky questions.
Yeah, I have no idea. Have you ever been in a car with 727 with cruise control? I haven't, but that's because we work on race cars.
The van has a 999. It will have a 518 eventually. I have a 518.
And does your van have cruise control?
It does. Still
It does.
working.
It's
It's neither is a speedometer, so it's probably just cable.
Yeah.
No big deal.
I mean, I'm sure that there's probably, I don't know.
Nothing to it. I'm sure it's a cable.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a cable or something.
Not a biggie. You can buy a 3-blade fan. You can, or you can have 2 blades fall off your 5-blade fan, and then it looks like a peace sign.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you can buy a 3-blade fan, but it's kind of like buying a 904.
Rating Slant 6 Chance Cannonballs. Does it wobble much? I don't know. Probably, but you have to ask Cope. Put Madison on camera. Is she here?
She's not. She's not here. We went and we got food. And I'm like, hey, I'm gonna make it to the end of this live because I want to make an appearance for CRT since he's in CRT's building.
Representing.
Yeah. You're in CRT's building. You did a CRT valve body, you did a shift kit.
Fun stuff.
You went through the whole, you got CRT parts in your trams. You gotta represent a little bit here,
Sure.
Yeah.
Glad to have you on. You're always welcome. I mean, it's always just fun stuff.
I know. It's hard to, find time, but I'm all good. I'm happy I made it here, even just for a little bit.
I'm going to show Lucas I'm going to drop the video real quick. I'm going to show Lucas my backdrop when I had Cope on last week. I'll be right back. Check
You
this
had
out.
Cope on last week?
Yeah. Well, watch this. I'm going to show him what the backdrop was. Yeah, we had that in the background. Small block Chevy endured through time, I think, because of Smokey Unick and his work with NASCAR. Smokey Unick was a really smart, creative guy.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't that the guy that dipped his car in acid?
He's a dude that did everything.
Yeah, no, the NASCAR rule was
Yeah.
made up after him.
50-foot fuel lines under
Yeah,
the
yeah,
car.
no, yeah,
have
like they're
capacity.
like this thick. They hold like 4 or 5 extra gallons of fuel.
I heard he would put a basketball in the fuel cell.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's before they used to what'd they do? They like dipped the I don't know what they did.
Well, they
to
could check
get
the
around
capacity, but when
Yeah.
it had an inflated basketball,
Well,
the
yeah,
capacity
no.
came out.
I know, but like
And then on the refuel, he just let the air out of the basketball, and he could get that much more volume.
Yeah.
Well, we're at our time, and I think Tony's Hot Rod Garage. I'm assuming he's going live for it's Friday night. I haven't seen Tony in here, but he generally goes live right after me. So we're going to wrap out. Anybody have any last minute tech questions for Lucas?
Yeah, you can shoot away right now. I'm sure eventually here we're going to be doing a live. Hopefully, either maybe when John's on with John, or
Yeah,
maybe I'll stop in.
you
see what's
can you
going
can
on.
come in and be a guest. We'll do
Oh,
it live
I
that
know,
way.
I know.
What
Yeah.
are you going to do it from?
I don't know where.
You going to do it from the build room?
I don't know where I do it from. I might be able to do it from the build room. Maybe from the build room, or maybe wherever.
You could do it. You could do it from one of the trucks up on top of the lift and be on top of the world.
Yeah, right. And get up on the rafters.
Well, anyway, we'll have Lucas on sometime, and Don wants to know now I'll be able to represent Cope's Transmissions. He sell 2X shirts. Sure, I
Yeah,
know
he does.
Yeah.
He sells 2X shirts. We have you have to specify what shirt you want. You have the one that John Wilburn's wearing,
The
which is
Valve
just
body or the
the-
Mr. Haney.
You have the Valve Body shirt and Mr. Haney shirt. They're all on the website, coperacingtrans.com.
Yep. But anyway, guys, it's been a blast being here. I always enjoy my time up here hanging out with Cope and Lucas and have a great time and get to learn a lot. And you guys get to ask any questions you want. Nobody better in the world with torque flights. So I'm glad to be here and get that opportunity, and for you guys too. So we're going to wrap up. Tony goes live here right now. So with that, we are out. Thanks for coming by, you guys. Appreciate you.
See you later.
Cope wants to know what 727 means.
Oh, we have no idea.
None of us can figure that out.
Hey, you know what 727 means. You tell me. You're the torque flight expert, the 727 expert.
None of us could figure out. And so in the Chrysler number universe, you have the A200 series, which is the manual transmission, right?
Yep.
Like the 3-speed manuals.
Yeah.
You have the 400 series, which is like front wheel drive stuff, right?
Yeah.
You have the 500 and 518 small block, big block overdrive, right?
Yep. And then you have the 600
The 6
series,
four,
which is like a 545
front wheel drive.
front wheel drive.
Yep, right.
Yep.
Then you have the 700 series, 727, right?
Yep.
Like an 833 transmission, be a manual transmission. Then you have 904, 998, 999, small block. They're all represented except the 300 series.
Except for the 300
I've never
series.
heard of anything in the A3 anything.
Yeah, no, I've never heard and it's also really weird how they made it like the 518. I don't get the 46 RE. That's pretty easy. 4-speed, power level,
Right.
E for electronic.
Well, the new
Easy stuff.
nomenclature is easy.
Yeah,
But the old one,
the old
it
ones they don't
just
really
seems
make much
totally
sense.
arbitrary.
Like
And-
what's 999?
Well, in other words, see, they ran out of numbers because they couldn't make an even cooler 904. So they just, it
Yeah.
could go to 1,000.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't really make.
And
any
Dust
sense.
Devil says the time is now 904. See, it's the perfect time to bring
It's
it up.
the perfect time to bring up, and it's probably the
Yep.
perfect time. To
Yep,
get out of
we
here.
don't know why the numbers are like that, but that was a great last question.
That was a
So
great last question that I did not have the answer.
we're
to.
going to hang it up on that, and we'll see all you guys next week.
Take care. Everybody.
Take care.